Hey everyone. Hope that you can hear me okay and see everything. Hope that it's bright enough. Losing a little bit of daylight than I would like, but okay. Hopefully this is good enough. This is Brooke here. I am going to lead you through this Georgia O'Keeffe inspired flower. I'm gonna give it a few minutes before I totally get started. So in the meantime, just a brief info about Georgia O'Keeffe. So she's an American artist, or was. She passed away in the 80s, but she was known for creating these really colorful, vibrant, floral type artwork. Thank you. Yeah, so she was known for using really vibrant colors, and the flowers tended to be like a zoomed in look, and they kind of just ran off the page. So that's why the petals go off the page, just because we're trying to really zero in on the focal point and the really cool close-up version. So yeah, all you need is oil pastels. Some people may prefer to use a napkin, but I don't really mind my fingers getting a little messy. So I just kind of go for it and just embrace the mess as part of the process. And also a piece of paper. Really doesn't matter what size. This is a 9x12 from our Art to Go bag. So this is what I'll be using today. And I'll go ahead and get started. So, sorry, I kind of have to turn it a little bit to be able to see it. But first things first, I use this really light color to create just an outline of where our center is going to be. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. In fact, it's kind of more ovally, and it doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle of the page either. As you can see on this one, it's like a little bit off to the side, but it kind of creates more excitement over here in the background area. So, just gonna do a little circle, super light, because you won't be able to see it in the end anyway. Then I use the blue for outlining the flower, because that's like the main color of the background, or at least it's the color I use for the very outside edges of the petals. So on your piece, if you want to do like a reverse type thing and have cool colors, you know, your purples and blues on the petals, and have your warmer colors like your yellows and reds on the background, you can do that. You can really create whatever type of flower, or for the sake of the tutorial, you could just kind of do it the same and then venture off doing your own thing later. So just kind of, I'm going to start going in for the petals, and the thing you want to remember is they don't have to be even or the same, and you want them to run off the page. That's kind of the point. So we just kind of go in like so. Just some normal petals. Some of them I kind of curve around, give them a little bit more character. A little, like on this one I did skinny to big. and just fill out the entire page. I have room for 6 petals, so maybe it's kind of the same for you, or maybe you have room for more. So this one is pretty good bit off center, but maybe I could just do more details on the background to balance it out. So this is what we have so far, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing the background. That's how I did this one. I don't always start with background, but for some reason with this one I did. So just kind of start going in the background lightly, just for the edge real quick around the petals, just because I think having this darker blue around the light colored petals really makes them pop. And that's the look we're going for with this, just because that's the look that Georgia O'Keeffe was usually going for. So a little trick is, if your pastel has been used like this one and it's lost its point, I just kind of tear off the paper on the other side and use the pointed side to get in these like little spots, because they can be kind of tricky. So just going into the petal edges for now. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. I'm realizing I'm a little bit messier when I'm on camera, but that's okay. It's just the preliminary sketch. So a little trick that I like to use when doing the background, how you can see the lines are kind of more bold on the blue. So if you want to go for that look, you can just go for it like with the blue pastel, and just however dark you want them to be is how hard you press. But if you want it to be a softer look, like this is not so soft, but if you want it to be a softer look, you could go ahead and kind of fill it in with a lighter color, and this almost acts like a base to where everything on top of it's just going to be a little bit smoother, since it's not directly on the paper. So for this one, I'm just kind of experimenting with having a smoother background. We're gonna add a lot more colors into this, so it doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. This is a base color. And so with this one, I went in with the light green. Kind of like the look of leaving a little bit of white space. Some parts kind of run off the paper and then some parts don't. Just making it a little more interesting. So we're gonna do this with all of the background spaces, not just that. So if you wanna experiment with different colors, you can. Otherwise, just keeping them in the cool family kind of makes it flow a little bit, I think. feel like I need some background music or something. I would sing, but trust me, you guys would rather watch me draw than listen to me sing. Do, do, do. And also I used a little bit of yellow last time as well, kind of brighten up these corners. It definitely makes it a little more green, so I'll probably go back with the blue to make it bluer, but if you like it more yellow or more green, you could keep it that way. Kind of almost looks like leaves in the background, abstract leaves. So going back in with the dark blue, I personally like crisp edges. We don't have to, but so I'm pressing a little harder along the edges of the petals. And kind of taper it off a little bit, just so it's not such a stark line. Just kind of fade out with it. Just make it a little smoother. And then like with this one, I have it kind of radiating out. And the next step will be going in and blending it with our finger. So don't worry, it will be a lot smoother. No, watch out. My cat just wanted to say hi. Oh, keep pedaling. I like that. Keep calm and pedal on. So to blend it in, before I go in and blend it in with my finger, I'm gonna go back in with this light blue. It just kind of pulls everything together. It's like a preliminary blending because it kind of, the lighter colors on top of the darker colors can achieve a blending effect. But then I'll go in with my finger and it blends even more. So I think it looks really cool when it's blended, and it kind of has a little bit of the streaks and a little bit of just the super blendedness. What is everyone's favorite flower? I feel like my favorite flower, it's kind of cliche, but might be the sunflower. I love how they get so tall. It's really cool. So kind of have like little chunks that get a little bit of a buildup, but that's okay. So you can kind of play around with it. I'm going back in with the blue. I kind of like a little bit more of the radiating. I feel like I lost too much of it, so you can just go back in and make it to whatever effect that you like. It's your art. So, oop, am I on the screen? And we have company. Okay, wow. She likes being on top of whatever I'm doing, but we're gonna need you to move so we can see what I'm doing. So right now I'm going back in with the light blue. And then I'll go back in with the dark blue to get my radiating look. And again with my finger, am I still on the camera? Let's see, okay. Oh. She's just so cute. I feel bad to kick her off. So she's a guest appearance. Kitty, if you had to pick your favorite artist, who would it be? Aw, she says I am. That's so sweet. Thanks, Kitty. So, in addition to flowers, Georgia O'Keeffe was also known for painting New York skyscrapers as well as New Mexico landscapes. So I guess like the two places that she lived during her life. Excuse me. Okay, bye. So I think that's really cool. I think takes a lot of talent to be able to do both organic and geometric paintings. I know I'm way better at flowers and stuff like this than doing like buildings and architecture. Okay, so after this, I'm going to leave the background alone. You can go in and make it look however you want it to look. If you want it to be smoother, you can go in there and really blend it out more. And just keep adding layers and blending. So, for now though, I'm going to go ahead and move into the center. So, start with this peachy color. And this is a great color for the parts of the petals where the color is. As you can see, it's kind of colored on the center and a little white with like shadowy effects on the edges, just to give it some dimension. But so we're not going all the way to the edges, we're not going all the way to the side, and we're not going all the way to the end of the petal with this. We're just kind of doing this a little bit uneven. It's like some parts are longer than others, just because, you know, when you look at a flower, not all of the petals look the same. They all look a little different, and they're not perfectly even. And it's okay to just go ahead and start at the circle you created at the beginning, because the center part of the flowers, it's so much darker that we'll be able to color over it anyways. So you don't have to worry about that. So we don't have to press down too hard right now. Just kind of lightly and evenly stroking the peach color. Oop, and be careful of getting fingerprints on the white part. That's where maybe you should use napkin, but oh well. It's like your personal signature. Okay. Almost done with the petals. Petunias. No. Kitty's favorite flower might be catnip. Does catnip get, like, does it flower ever? She goes crazy for that stuff. She eats it like a weirdo. Most cats just sniff it and roll around in it. But so Anyway, so another thing about Georgia O'Keeffe, she has been recognized as the mother of American modernism. So, and she lived from 1887 to 1986. So, wow, she was 1 year shy of being 100. That's amazing. Next, we're just going to start getting a little darker. Well, we'll go from lightest to darkest. So next will be yellow. With the yellow, I am a little bit more sparing with it than I was with the peach. Kind of following the same guidelines, but I'm just not filling in totally. Kind of like a little bit on the sides, a little bit in the middle. It doesn't have to cover every part of the peach. Just a little bit. Oop. That's okay. Oh, and we're back. Okay, so I might go back in with the yellow and peach, but for now, I'm gonna go in with the orange. So, something that I like to do to get a even more blended effect pre-blending it is I rub it on my finger, a cleaner finger, and then I just kind of go in and go like that, just on some parts, especially with the orange. So this is just kind of a neat little trick. And just be sure your finger doesn't have any of the blue on it, because then you will get brown. So that looks kind of neat. And like I said, I'll probably go back in with more yellow and yeah. Fingers can achieve a look that pastels and brushes can't. Do like a little bit, some lines, but so I don't know about you guys, but this takes me back. Takes me back to being a kid and just being messy and using my fingers. Something nostalgic about pastels and coloring like that. So I don't know if this is obvious or not, but it definitely helps to just turn your paper as you go. Oops. No, it got some blue on there. Oh well. And a couple more. I think that this technique also really captures the softness of the flower petals. And just like with our background, it's kind of cool to have a combination of like the blended look and the streaks of color. So But I am going to go back, especially with the peach, just because it helps blend it even more. And then I'll blend that out as well with my finger. Definitely got a little smudgy, but that's okay. Oil pastels are good for helping us let go of our need for control, because they just get everywhere and we just have to kind of embrace it. And I'll go back in with a little more yellow too, just because I like the pop of yellow, and it looks really nice layered on top of the orange we did. It really makes it pop. Aw, well, I'm glad you're learning something new. I kind of discovered it too when I was doing this. I was like, how can I make it look smoother? But I also just find that going back in with lighter colors really helps make it look more smooth and vibrant. Okay, so next is some of the red. Just want little touches of the red, is like in this example piece. I put this on my finger too, just because I'm afraid if I go straight in with it, it's just going to be too harsh of a line. So kind of go in with this finger because it's a little cleaner, and just push it out. And then I'll go back and do a few lines that are more vivid. So also one of my favorite quotes by Georgia O'Keeffe that I think just sums up what it's like to be an artist. She says, or said, "I found I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way, things I had no words for." So I think that's a really beautiful quote, because it's like with flowers or nature, just so beautiful beyond words. And sometimes just putting your emotions and how it makes you feel into your art is just a way better way of expressing yourself. So I will do a few lines very lightly with red. Kind of blend them in a little bit. Even some of those are a little bit harsher than I wanted them to be, but I can always, if they do turn out to be harsher than you intended, you can just blend them in with your fingers or more of the lighter colors. But for the part that's closer to our center, I think it is kind of naturally a little darker. So it's not a bad thing. I'm kind of using the side of my finger for this to blend it. So if your fingertips get a little tired, you can use other parts of your hand. So for the shadowy parts of the petal, this like lighter bluish color, I think I used some yellow and blue. I do the same thing. I put it on my finger first just because the shadows are so subtle. So I'm really not trying to make them be too intense. And I don't make them even on every petal. Some have more and some have less, but you know, if I put more on this one, I might kind of balance it out and put more on this one, like one that's kind of like on the other side of it, just whatever looks balanced. And I kind of blend it in with the yellow so it looks like it's got part of the petal color on it too. All right, so now we'll do the little middle part with all the parts of the flowers that I can't really remember from 5th grade science. Is that like some anthers and the pollen and the, I don't know. If you guys know the parts of the flower, you can comment and educate us. So I'm going in with the, to do the yellow part, which maybe is the pollen. We'll just call it that. And focusing more around the perimeter, but it's okay to get it in the center too, a little bit. And then whatever that part is, I should have done my research for doing this, because I'm just like, I don't know, the stamen. Okay, that sounds right. All right, so to do that little middle part, we're using the red and the tannish brown color from our oil pastel pack. So this one I kind of want more precise edges. Like I don't really blend this as much. Oh, I think oh, that was upside down. Oh, well, I guess this is this way now. To make it match this one more, I should have done it the other way, but now this goes this way, and that's okay. So kind of just little marks, and with the red as well. Kind of helps if they're new pastels, because you can just make them skinnier lines. Gets a little bit challenging when they've dulled down, so I guess that's why everyone went crazy over those built-in crayon sharpeners back in the day. And then for the little, that part, I use the black. as an outline, so it's a pretty dark outline, so I do the outline and then kind of like a little dot in the middle and make them different sizes. And some of them kind of overlapping the other one. And for the center of those, I use gray, just because they're a little lighter, and then I just kind of blend it all in with the black. And I kind of decided for this middle part, I'm gonna add some orange, so it looks a little dark. So I'm gonna add the orange, and then I'm gonna go back in with the brown to make it, give it some more precise little, what? Oh, nope, never mind. The brown said, not today. Okay, that's okay. I'm just gonna hold it. I'm just trying to make more precise lines just because they are probably like hair-like fine texture. And so then with around this part, I just do these radiating little kind of curved lines and just radiate around the whole center. And do them with, kind of go over them with the red too. And add some extra little red lines. Just tiny little marks. And I'll just go ahead and do this for the outside of it too. So these are just tons of little lines. And I just kind of do it fast because I prefer them to not be even and perfect. I think they all need to look like a little bit different. So I just kind of go fast, and I'm just like, and then I'll use the tan again, or brown. And then to give it a little bit more definition, I'm just doing slight black ones that are shorter, that go around the yellow part. They don't extend all the way, just to kind of give it a little bit more definition and pop. And I'll actually, to make some skinnier ones, I'm gonna tear off the paper on this red pastel so that I can get its pointed end to make really fine lines, super lightly, that kind of just really give it the zoomed in, detailed look. And while I have the red, I'm gonna give the petals a little bit more of it. So I'm really lightly going back in. And I'll probably smooth those out with my finger as well. All right. And there you have it. This one is upside down. It's a little bit messier than I would normally do. To clean it up, I would go back in with like this blue and really get these edges smoother. That'll definitely clean it up more. In addition, I would maybe go in on the background more and blend it in. And just anything that, the little details, you can go back and clean it up. Even just going with this light blue, it kind of just smooths it out a little over the dark blue. So I think those edges were just what's making it look a little bit not as clean as the other one that I had done. Got to figure out how to sharpen these bad boys. Something. All right, so so that's about it. If you want to go back, add more yellow to the petals or whatever you want to do, like if you want them to look more yellow or if you want them to look more orange, it's totally up to you. So do those little finishing touches and you're good to go. I hope you enjoyed. Come back next Wednesday for another fun project. Thank you for joining. Bye, everyone.